Good morning on this Monday, February 22nd, 2021. Welcome to another edition of Let It Be Known, the Black Press USA and NMPA Live. Let's bring in now our president and CEO, Dr. Ben Chavis. Good morning, Dr. Chavis.
Good morning, Stacey, and good morning, Black Press of America, the National Newspaper Publishers Association. On behalf of Karen Carter Richards, our illustrious chair, we welcome all of you to this edition of Let It Be Known.
And Dr. Chavis, we start with the news. Almost 56 years to the February 21st, 1965 assassination of Malcolm X. The civil rights leader's daughters and a noted civil rights attorney are shining a light on those whom they believe are responsible for the heartless murder. The group gathered this weekend, Dr. Chavis, at the old Audubon Ballroom in New York, which has since been renamed the Shabazz Center, with lawyers Ray Hamlin and Paul Napoli and Reggie Wood, whose relative, NYPD officer Ray Wood, allegedly confessed in a deathbed declaration letter. The gathering occurred in the same venue as the assassination and just one day before the assassination. Dr. Chavis, they unveiled this letter showing that Ray Wood and the NYPD and the FBI were behind the assassination of Malcolm X. Lots been said over the years about the assassination of Malcolm X. Dr. Chavis, what's your perspective on this new evidence that was presented this weekend, which included this deathbed confession?
Well, yes, first, we thank God that truth finally comes out. And we thank Attorney Benjamin Crump for standing with Brother Malcolm's family. Sister Ilyasa and her other sisters. Malcolm had a big family. And, we know that they've been through a lot over the last 56 years since the tragic assassination of Malcolm X on February the 21st, 56 years ago. So I think this revelation, this deathbed confession, keep in mind, this confession was written by a former member of the New York City Police Department, an African-American member of the New York City Police Department. So it shows you what was going on in the 1960s when a lot of the civil rights movement, a lot of the freedom fighting organizations were infiltrated. And tragic assassination of Malcolm X, tragic assassination of Medgar Evers, tragic assassination of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., on and on and on. And we're hoping now that the Manhattan District Attorney, Cyrus Vance, I understand, is now actively investigating what happened 56 years ago. So at the tip of the iceberg, I think there are more that's going to come out with this confession that the family of Woods has now publicly released.
Yeah, in a statement to the Black Press, Cyrus Vance, the Manhattan District Attorney, said that he is looking into the new evidence, has always, he says, been open to new evidence in the case of Malcolm X. As you mentioned, Ilyasa, one of his daughters, Cubelia, and Gamila. I can't pronounce it too well, Dr. Chavis, but Malcolm X had 6 daughters, Dr. Chavis. Obviously, knowing that their father had been assassinated, and even all these years later, this still profoundly affects them all these years later. I saw Ilyasa tweet a really touching photo of her father in memory, in his remembrance yesterday on the anniversary of his death. This officer, Dr. Chavis, Ray Wood, as you said, he infiltrated a lot of different civil rights organizations, including CORE and others. In this case, it is alleged that they arrested Malcolm X's members of Malcolm X's security detail and had no one at the door of the Audubon Ballroom on that fateful day, and which allowed the assassins to murder Malcolm X. So we're still following that story. As you said, Benjamin Crump, the noted civil rights attorney, we've seen Benjamin Crump in so many different areas, helping the families of George Floyd, Ahmaud Arbery, Breonna Taylor. He has been extremely active, and now he's very much active in this case, pushing the New York District Attorney's office in Manhattan to reopen the
Right.
case.
And I want to also, I think, right, Stacey, I also want to publicly thank the Woods family for stepping forward. You know, a lot of times when situations like this happen in a person's family, the family gets embarrassed and doesn't want to tell what happened. In this case, they followed their relatives' instructions. Obviously, the reason why Ray Wood did this, he wanted the truth to come out, even after his death. So I think, you know, the old axiom that truth crushed to the earth will always rise again. The truth will set you free. Truth is an important. That's what the black press does. We find the truth, we search the truth, we research the truth, and then we publish the truth. We disseminate the truth. And I think Black America, all Americans, I think the world is owed the truth about our brother Malcolm X. And so we stand in solidarity with the family of Malcolm X. And I want to just publicly, on behalf of the Black Press, thank the Woods family for coming forward with this original signed document by Ray Woods.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Dr. Chambers. That is so important to note that they came forward with this. They could have stayed in the shadows, and they did not. So, yeah, I'm with you on that. Moving on, Dr. Davis, the General Motors African Ancestry Network, or G-Man, an employee resource group focused on attracting, developing, and retaining employees of African ancestry while engaging communities to drive GM business priorities and performance, held its 15th annual Black History Month celebration. The virtual event took place on Friday, February 19, and it recognizes the sacrifices, contributions, and achievements of African Americans in the United States and worldwide, highlighting how our collective experience and unique perspective have been catalysts for creativity and innovation within our communities. And Dr. Chavis, the highlight of the G-Man African American History Month celebration was your interview with Common, the Academy Award winning and Grammy winning entertainer. Dr. Chavis, tell us a little bit about that. I had the privilege of seeing it, but tell our audience, what was it like with that interview with Common and some of the things that you guys discussed?
Thank you very much. And first of all, we thank General Motors, which is our longest serving partner of the National Newspaper Publishers Association. Over 5 decades, General Motors has supported the Black press of America. And so this was their annual Black History Month program by G-Man. And we thank Lester Booker, who was working so hard to make this successful. And we're going to get a copy of that clip and show it to our audience as soon as we can get it released. It was for, the employees and special guests of General Motors. The CEO of General Motors, Mary Barr, has announced that she wants General Motors to become the most diverse, the most inclusive company in all of corporate America. And they're headed toward that now. And so this interview that I did with Common was about the state of Black America today, about what is happening with COVID-19, what is happening with the need for criminal justice reform, what is happening with, the quest for African Americans not only to be treated fairly, but to be resolute in our struggle for freedom, justice, and equality. And of course, Common has been a long supporter of the Black press. And, we talked about his own evolution as a leader, not only in Hollywood or in entertainment, but Common has a rare commitment. He's from the South Side of Chicago. He talked about his family growing up. And it's interesting that when I asked him what leader had the most impact on him, and you know what he said? Malcolm X. So, it's timely. This was a weekend where we had that great program, that interview with Common. And we're going to publish something as soon as we get the tape, the videotape from General Motors. But let me just highlight 3 things that Common said. Number one, he said that the culture of our people, our songs, our rhythms, our videos, our language should always uplift us to higher heights, to encourage us to make a difference in the world. Secondly, he talked the importance about giving something back to the community. Common has several foundations that help support community development, leadership development, youth leadership development. And he also, of course, encourages the arts. He does a lot to get young people involved in expressing themselves. Self-expression is so important. And then lastly, Common is a strong supporter of criminal justice reform. And of course, we ended the interview. I gave him, on behalf of G-Man of General Motors, the 2021 Lifetime Achievement Award. He was very receptive to receiving this prestigious award from G-Man, from General Motors. And then he ended our interview. I think our interview lasted about almost 30 minutes. It was the highlight of the show. He then, a cappella, gave us a rendition of Glory that he won the Academy Award on. He and John Legend. He did it, and it was very moving when John Lewis and Jose Williams and others from the Southern Christian Leadership Conference, from the Student Nonviolent Organizing Committee, marched across Edmonds Petty Bridge in 1995 on that bloody Sunday when they were beaten brutally because they were trying to get voting rights for Black people. And of course, this year, the Congress Act for voting rights.
Yeah. We're having some difficulties on your end, Dr. Chavis, which our producer's trying to rectify that now. But I love, you know, of all the things, one of the things you said, and when you introduced Common, you said, and this brother makes a difference. And you look at the Common Ground Foundation and the other foundations that he has, as you mentioned, Common has not only talked the talk, but as much as anyone, Dr. Chavis, Common has walked the walk. And he continues to do so.
Absolutely,
certainly
absolutely.
Our hats off to Common. Yeah. So, and Dr. Chavis. So, what else? He mentioned too something in that interview too. He said he had this conversation with an 18-year-old, and it opened his eyes even more to what these young ones have in store for the world, really.
Yes, and you know, Common set a great example in his own life of giving back. Even when he started making hit songs, he always kept a strong foundation in Chicago, where he's from, to support the leadership development, the artistic development of up and coming artists. I can say without fear of contradiction, that Common is one of the heroes of hip hop. He's one of the heroes of pop culture. And he and John Legend and others continue to give back not only to the African American community, but to the world community to help make our society a better place. So it was a great honor, actually, for me personally, to be asked by General Motors to be the interviewer of Common during the G-Man celebration. It was a great opportunity, and we're going to make sure once we get the release from General Motors, we're going to show it to our audience here on Let It Be Known.
Yeah, and one last note, Dr. Chavis, on that. Common did something that all of your hip hop buddies, the whole hip hop community does. We call you Dr. Chavis. They call you Dr. Ben. Is there a reason behind that? Because LL, Ice Cube, all those guys call you Dr. Ben.
Well, in hip hop, I'm known as Dr. Ben. You know, Russell Simmons and I co-founded the Hip Hop Summit Action Network over 20 years ago, and you know, almost 25 years ago. And so, you know, like Dr. Dre, Dr. Ben. That's how, you know, that's my handle in hip hop.
Okay, now we got that straight. Well, exactly. And Dr. Chavis, coming up, so the pandemic, which has locked many doors for businesses, has also opened new entrepreneurial opportunities and technology innovations for Black-owned businesses and others interested in the future of American and global economies. The Tech Conference 2021, the NMPA and Zinger News has partnered for a one-day virtual summit that will begin at 11 a.m. Eastern Time on Wednesday, February 24th. That's this coming Wednesday. The conference is designed and structured to present timely and constructive information and best practices on the various technological advances in the national and global marketplace, not just local, not just nationally, but global, that can help sustain Black-owned businesses during this prolonged pandemic and afterwards. So, Dr. Chavis, big event Monday, 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. Pacific, Tech Conference 2021. NMPA. Also, look, Congresswoman Yvette Clarke is going to, she's from the 9th District of New York. She'll deliver the keynote address. Also, Dana White, the Hyundai North America Chief Communications Officer, and one of the highest ranking African-American executive leaders in the U.S. auto industry, will also participate. At Hyundai, Dana White leads a team of innovators to help one of America's largest automakers recruit minority business owners for its global supply chain. So big event, Dr. Chavis.
Absolutely. And I want all of our listeners to know that you can participate at Tech Conference 2021, sponsored by the NMPA and Zinger News, on the 24th. Just go to the website. I think we're going to put it down so people can register. And there's no cost for registration. But we want you to register because we're going to develop a mailing list, an email blast list. We want to make sure you get your email on there so that we can stay in touch with you on all the technological innovations. And one of the great things you're going to hear on the 24th, Stacey, is all the opportunities. Do you know there are thousands of jobs available right now in the tech space? And you don't have to have a college degree. And some of these programs, they will train you on the job how to be a tech specialist. So please take advantage. For all of our publishers who are listening, if you have young people, millennials, or Generation Z or others on your staff or in your community or in your family that want to improve their not just their grasp of technology, but how to utilize technology to bring in revenue streams for themselves, for the family, for the businesses, for the communities. It's a great opportunity. Tech Conference 2021, sponsored by the NMPA and Zinger News.
Yeah, and I think you mentioned something really important there too, that they can get a certification. It doesn't require some of these really high-paying positions don't require a college degree, and why is that important, especially for Black America and minority communities? Because not all of us can afford college. Not all of us are able to get a scholarship. So there is another path to success, especially here in the tech industry.
Absolutely. And also, even a lot of our brothers and sisters, it's a second career track. I mean, you can learn how to do more than one thing in life. And one of the things that the COVID-19 pandemic.
Okay, we're kind of losing Dr. Chavis there.
Everyone.
So we have.
I think it may be going in and out.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, so I think we'll overcome these technical difficulties. I think sometimes there are so many people who just discussing the importance of technology, the importance of innovation, and sometimes the internet strength fluctuates depending on where you are.
Yeah, absolutely. And our publisher down in Florida, Dr. Chavis, Bobby Henry, says, "Are those jobs for seniors like me?" Bobby, he can do anything. His mind, he sets his mind to.
Tell them the answer is yes. Tell them the answer is yes. Tell them the answer is yes.
Absolutely. and we want to say good morning to James Wright, Tish Brazil, Annette Phillips, all of them, Joni King, Lynn Spivey. I can't name everybody, but we certainly are so glad that you are with us this morning. And remember, Tech Conference 2021 is Wednesday. It's coming right up. So much information. This has been, the NMPA and Zinger have been working on this for some time. You're going to be really amazed at the information, the package they put together to enlighten everyone on what's available in the tech space, even during the pandemic. And as we said at the top, it's going to carry you through the pandemic. So please tune in, register now. That you'll see it on the scroll there, how to register. And also you'll be reading about this today and in the coming days on blackpressusa.com and many of our member newspapers as well, and their websites. So there's a sign up there, Tech Conference 2021. It's free. It's certainly worth the time. And certainly you're going to be impressed by what NMPA and Zynga News have put together. And Dr. Chavez, I know there's a lot of hard work has gone into this.
A lot of hard work. And another thing that people are going to not be surprised, but I think it's reaffirmation to see is so many African Americans, men and women and young people, millennials, they're on the case. They've created new businesses. They're making innovation jobs. I just want to thank Hyundai Motors North America for being the lead sponsor. Dana White, who's one of the highest ranking African Americans in the whole automotive industry, she's going to speak. And so on behalf of the National Newspaper Publishers Association and Zynga News, we especially thank Hyundai Motors of America.
Yeah, absolutely. G-Man 20, I'm sorry, that we already talked about G-Man 2021, Tech Conference 2021, Wednesday, 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. Pacific. Please register now, register early, register often. It's going to be a jam-packed day. Dr. Chavez, your closing thoughts.
Yes, and now, obviously I was very much involved in the planning and the execution of this virtual conference, Tech Conference 2021. And I'm going to be very honest with our listener audience and with you, Stacey. I learned a lot just by helping to plan this conference about technology, about innovations. And I guess I was so, how can I say, it was rewarding. It was refreshing. It was revalidating to see there's so many African Americans who have become decision makers in technology. They say that STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math, that African Americans have been slow in STEM. That is not true. With some of the leading innovators in the STEM fields are, in fact, African Americans. This NASA just had a landing on Mars. Well, the original mathematician for all of NASA, the National Aeronautic and Space Administration of the federal government, were Black women, hidden figures. And so one of the things we're doing at Tech Conference 2021, we're revealing other hidden figures in technology to help our country go forward, to help our companies go forward. And I'm so pleased that the NMPA and Zynga News have put this together. I'm excited because I already know, since I've already seen some of the programming, it is going to really help a lot of our publishers, a lot of our African-American-owned businesses to move forward. And I would think, hopefully, Stacey, we're going to make this an annual event. There's been just a tremendous response. So please, you see the Tech Conference registration website. I think they're streaming it. Please go there and register today. Don't wait till the 24th. Register now.
Right. Register now. You're absolutely right, Dr. Chavez. And you won't be disappointed. Tomorrow, we'll have as a special guest the President and CEO of the National Museum of African American Music History, Beecher Hicks III, will join us tomorrow morning on Let It Be Known. That museum has just opened just a few weeks ago down in Tennessee. And I tell you what, I've seen some of the virtual offerings there. Can't wait to get down and see it in person. It's going to be an amazing treat for music lovers. And Dr. Chavez, we all love music in some form, Dr. Chavez, as Black Americans.
Well, absolutely. As people of African descent, this is still the decade of salute of people of African descent from the United Nations. And one of the things that unites us, you're right, Stacey, our music, our songs, our poetry, our writing will bless people. We've been blessed with creativity. We've been blessed with the ability to communicate across the barriers of language, the barriers of geography. And so we still have that drumbeat. We still have that song voice, those song voices coming out of gospel singing, or coming out of Motown, or coming out of hip hop, or coming out of jazz, or coming out of pop. No matter what the genre, we've been a blessed people, and we will continue to make a difference to the extent to which we allow our God-given gifts and talents to be manifest for the whole world to see, to witness, and to be inspired.
Well, as Marvin Gaye used to say, music is the soul of the man. Today, our Black History Month remembrance is Granville Woods, known as Black Edison. Granville Woods invented 15 different appliances for the electric railways and held nearly 60 patents at the time of his death. His most notable invention was the multiplex induction telegraph, which allowed people to communicate by voice over telegraph wires, which ultimately prevented train accidents. Woods' title as Black Edison has quite the story behind it. When Woods created the multiplex telegraph, Thomas Edison tried to sue Woods. When that failed, Edison tried to make Woods a partner, but Woods refused, and he earned the nickname Black Edison. Our Black History Month remembrance is Granville Woods. Let it be known, you are not obligated to win, but you are obligated to keep trying to do the best you can every day. We will see you tomorrow.